Plato 427 BC, 347 BC. He was a great philosopher, thinker, educator, and mathematician in ancient Greece. Also one of the greatest philosophers and thinkers in all of Western culture. Plato, his teacher Socrates, and his student Aristotle are known as the three sages of Greece. Plato was born into a wealthy aristocratic family. His father was Ariston and his mother was Pericron. He is the fourth child in his family. His family is said to be descended from the kings of ancient Athens. He was also the nephew of Chrysius, a well-known Athenian politician at the time. The concepts he created or developed include Platonic thought, Platonism, Platonic love, etc. Plato's major works are dialogues, most of which feature Socrates. However, academic circles generally believe that the image of Socrates in it is not entirely the real Socrates in history. In addition to Homer, Plato was also influenced by many writers and thinkers who came before him, including the concept of harmony, proposed by Pythagoras, and Anaxagoras' use of mind or reason as the basis for judging the correctness of anything. Parmenides' theory of the connection between all things may also influence Plato's concept of the soul. Plato's works, the Republic, Plato's dialogues, Phaedo. In philosophy, he established the first huge system of objective idealism in the history of European philosophy. In 399 BC, Socrates was tried and sentenced to death. Plato was completely disappointed with the existing political system. It is said that he returned to Athens at the age of 40, around 387 BC. He founded his own school, the Academy of Plato, in the northwest corner outside Athens. The Academy produced many intellectuals, the most outstanding of whom was Aristotle. Let's take a look at the wealth of thought this sage philosopher left us. The biggest regret in life is to easily give up what should not be given up, and stubbornly insist on what should not be insisted on. When he gains power, he immediately becomes as unjust as he can. What we have been looking for is what we already have. We always look around, but miss what we want, which is why we have not been able to get what we want so far. No matter when you start, the important thing is to not stop once you start. No matter when you end it, the important thing is not to regret it after it is over. If you're not happy, if you're not joyful, let go. If you can't let go, if you can't release it, then endure the pain. Patience is the basis of all intelligence. The only secret to success is to persist until the last minute. Wherever there is an ideal, hell is heaven. Where there is hope, pain also becomes joy. The truth may be on the side of the few. Not knowing one's own ignorance is double ignorance. Tomorrow will always be a miracle for the world. Words are both a method of memory and a power of forgetting. If you love it, please love it deeply. If you don't love it, please abandon it. Don't be ambiguous and hurt others and yourself. I thought that the bird could not fly across the sea because the bird did not have the courage to fly across the sea. 10 years later, I discovered that it was not that the bird could not fly across the sea, but that there was no longer waiting on the other side of the sea. Procrastination is the best way to suppress irritation. Time takes away everything and will change your name, appearance, personality, and destiny over the years. No matter how difficult it is, don't ask for pity. The most important thing is not to live, but to live a beautiful life. People only live in dreams. Only philosophers struggle to wake up. Laziness is the son of cowardice, and neglect is the son of laziness. The world is so imperfect, and if you want to gain something, you have to lose something. What determines a person's mood is not the environment, but the state of mind. All knowledge that deviates from justice should be called cunning, not wisdom. There is a terrible, wild, and lawless desire in each of us. Even those who seem to be gentle are no exception. If we fight by faith, we are doubly armed. Respecting people should not be more important than respecting the truth. One today is better than two tomorrows. There is nothing happier than health, although they did not think that was the greatest happiness before they fell ill. When truth is lost, beauty is also lost. It takes greater courage to conquer oneself, and its victory is the most glorious of all victories. I want to turn into night so I can watch you sleep with thousands of eyes. Be kind, because everyone you meet is fighting a hard war. If someone thinks that what he can feel with his hands is the real thing, then he is still a very ignorant person. A person's worth is measured by what he does when he has power. Humans are meaning-seeking animals. People who are suitable as guardians should not only be naturally high-spirited, but also need to have the qualities of a philosopher. Ideal is the noblest factor in the soul. A slave is a slave because his actions do not represent his own thoughts, but the thoughts of others. Generally speaking, people who do not earn money by themselves are often not greedy for money. Only those who earn money by themselves want more money. In love, emotionally, when you want to conquer the other person, you have actually been conquered by the other person to a certain extent. First is the other person's attraction to you, and then is your desire to conquer the other person. It is understandable that children are afraid of the dark. The real tragedy in life is that adults are afraid of the light. Your selfless greatness dooms us to a tragic end. The first wealth is health, the second wealth is beauty, and the third wealth is property. Goodness is the harmony of the soul. Goodness includes wisdom, courage, temperance, and justice. Boys are the hardest of all beasts to tame. The king's ancestors were all slaves. True love drives away crazy or lustful things. Initial education should be a kind of entertainment, so that it is easier to discover a person's natural hobby. The most virtuous people are those who have virtue without showing it outwardly and still feel content. Wealth and poverty are the mother of luxury and sloth, the other of baseness and malice, and both are sources of insatiability. As much as there are ways in which women's nature is inferior to us, men, there are as many ways in which women's nature is superior to us. Everything flows, nothing remains still. I declare that might makes right and justice means the interests of the strong. Good people don't need the law to tell them to take responsibility. Evil people always skirt around the edges of the law. You can imagine that if anyone obtains the power of invisibility, but never does evil or touches things that belong to others, he will definitely be considered by onlookers to be the most miserable fool. When a person thinks he is close to death, unprecedented fear and anxiety will enter his heart. In this world, you have to defend something. It is more shameful to cause injustice than to suffer it. Getting started is the most important part of the job. Emotions are the inherent weakness of human beings. All we can do is to suppress emotions through persistent self-discipline. Falling in love is a serious mental illness. Good people who are indifferent to public affairs pay the price of being ruled by evil people. Love is neither wisdom nor beauty, but the desire for wisdom and beauty. If the will is not pure, knowledge will be harmful. In this chaotic secular world, It is also a state to be able to learn to treat everything around you with a normal heart. Life is endless and lonely. Love is endless and lonely life. Loneliness is the eternal theme of love. I am alone with my shadow. It said it had something private to say to me. It said it misses you very much. It turns out that my shadow and I are both thinking of you. People with a calm and cheerful temperament are less likely to feel the pressure of old age. But for people with the opposite temperament, youth and old age are equally burdensome. The attitude in life is to have the best hope, do your best, and prepare for the worst. Children's education is the foundation of society. Courage is knowing what to fear. A group of people who were forced to live in a cave could not get out of the cave, so they could only understand the outside world through the shadows left on one wall of the cave by external things. Where does tyranny originate? It obviously comes from people's livelihood. The courage of ordinary people comes from fear. They give up some pleasures because they covet other pleasures, and their self-control comes from self-indulgence. We are forced to make money for our bodies. We have become slaves to maintaining our flesh. Those who can see through the shadows behind the scenes and see through the lies in their culture are never understood by the public, so never mind whether the public believes it or not. Friends all have something in common. Everyone who is bathed in love is a poet. He who has gold in his heart does not need to live under a golden roof. Love, only affection, can make people dare to sacrifice their lives for the one they love. Not only men can do this, but women can also do it. Love is worldly, but love elevates worldly phenomena to the highest good and ideals by looking at the most sensual form of beauty in ideas. The mission of love, therefore, is to mediate between man and God. There are also three qualities in everyone's soul: reason, passion, and desire. The cruelest treatment to a child is to let him make all his wishes come true. Nothing is most likely to cause a person to become exhausted and damage a person more than to be inactive for a long period of time. A good start is half the battle. There is a garden of love between people. If people are lazy and selfish, it will be barren. If you are diligent in watering it with love, it will show you the fragrance of love. If you do something at the wrong time, it will definitely fail. Any doctor, when he is a doctor, will consider the patient's interests when making prescriptions, not his own interests. No one is right or wrong when it comes to feelings. As the song goes, I don't care if it lasts forever, I just want to have it once. In your mind, there is a vivid and perfect him in this world. He is flawless and the only eternal one to you. Maybe he won't appear in reality, but he will always live in your heart. There is no real kindness in the friendship between lovers. He has a desire to devour you. A lover loves his beloved as a wolf loves a lamb. Human beings criticize unjust behavior, not because they want to commit such behavior, but because they fear that they will become the victims of such behavior. We can never fully obtain what we seek, the truth, because the flesh needs to be fed, which keeps us busy. Knowledge is indeed food for the soul. Philosophers also need to learn mathematics, because they must jump out of the vast sea of ever-changing phenomena and grasp the true essence, and because this is the shortcut to the transition of the soul to truth and eternity. No kind of pleasure is greater and more intense than physical love, but there is nothing more irrational than this.